I want to introduce our next guest. Before I do, I want to take a moment to talk about a hero who has left us, one of the greatest, most passionate, most eloquent defenders of freedom of speech and freedom of the press, even for ideas that are sometimes obnoxious. He knew that if we want free speech for ourselves, we have to give it to others. One of my favorite things about the late, great Rex Murphy was his command of words. And we've got a little video that we put together. I'm going to throw to it in about 30 seconds, but before I do, I had the pleasure of spending some time with Rex Murphy and hanging out at his apartment down at Queens Quay, and he's one of the few people, he's the only person I know who has the full Oxford English Dictionary. I don't mean the little one, I mean like the 24 volumes where they tell you the history of each word. Do you know that? The full Oxford English Dictionary tells you the history of every word, the first time it was ever used. And Rex would read that. I won't tell you how nerdy we were, but we tried to stump each other with words. What does this mean? How do you spell that? I managed to stump old Rex. Infandus, that was my winning word. Anyways, I'm showing up. Rex Murphy knew more words than anyone I've ever met. He was a Rhodes Scholar. He once had a job for a column a week for a Newfoundland newspaper, 52 columns. He told me he wrote them all in one weekend and submitted them in the invoice. That's how prolific and brilliant he was. I never knew anyone who wielded the English language like he did, but I never knew anyone who swore like Rex Murphy did. And what is the lesson there? Sometimes when we swear, it's because we lack the words. We're just so mad and we don't know what else to say, so we spit out an epithet. I don't know, maybe not you, but me. Why would someone who has more words at his fingertips than anyone else, why would he resort to swears and shocking swears? Well, to make the point. To make the point that he is leaving polite company because he's so bloody mad about something, he wants you to know it. He's not stupid. He doesn't lack the vocabulary. He doesn't lack the thought. He was very philosophical. He chose on occasion to use those very sharp punctuation marks to let you know something was wrong and that this deeply affected him. He understood that to give offense was an important tool in expressing our thoughts. Just like the young man who went into the California court with a shirt that said, "Fuck the draft." And he was arrested and held in contempt of court. That went all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And the judges said, F-U-C-K, the draft, is more, it's a necessary way for him to express himself. That sharpness, that vulgarity, it wasn't, "Excuse me, sir, I do oppose the draft." No, you have to be able to say the swear to get your meaning out, and we can handle it. We'll survive it. And Rex understood that. And so he understood that every now and then you have to use rough language to get a point across, not gratuitously, but to make a point. And we have lost the understanding that we have to be able to disagree with each other and debate. And you have the right to be offended, but you do not have the counterfeit human right not to be offended, because that is simply code for censoring people. Yara Sachs, Justin Trudeau, the Canada Lands Company want to censor you. Let's roll the tape in memory of a great Canadian, Rex Murphy.
I have become accustomed by the infiltration and osmosis of political correctness to exercise a kind of internal restriction on what it is, not what we think, but to say what we think. So who's the greater environmentalist, the farmer or the person working for Greenpeace?
They have been putting up with this condescension, dismissal, they're yobs, they're louts, they're taking up space, they shouldn't be tolerated. Who is this they? And this is coming out of the mouth of a prime minister who, more than any other thing, set himself up as the virtue emperor of all the world.
He went far too far with the Emergency Act and his attempt to put division, especially against the working class of Canadians, during the trucker protest. That was both unseemly. And regardless of the carelessness of the political climate that allows it to extend itself, reassure yourselves that you're better than your enemies and that these hard times will go away.
Everybody here on this hill, my very last word, and that's the greatest thing I can give you. If there are people who intimidate you when you think to speak good words of Israel, you spit back at them.
wokeism, insisting, pushing, propagandizing, evangelizing these toxically stupid ideas and perverting the education system in their way. We have got so cozy, we've got smugger, lazy, or condescending. We don't value the things that built the place we now live in at such a high level of civilization.
I'm Rex Murphy. Say a prayer for me, and we'll see you later.
Rex Murphy, oh my God, that makes me sad. So what do you do when you lose such a national treasure like that, such a resource, such a force for freedom? What do you do? Well, everyone else steps up. Everyone else climbs the ladder one more rung. And you yourselves become a greater expositor of the reasons for freedom. And you yourself become a little bit braver to fill in the gap left by his absence. Let me now introduce